If there's one thing every gardener agrees on, it's that earthworms are nature's best little soil engineers. They aerate, fertilize, and improve the structure of your soil without you having to lift a finger. Most gardeners immediately think of compost as the ultimate worm magnet. And yes, worms love compost. But what if I told you there's a simple, overlooked soil hack that attracts even more worms than compost and keeps them working for you season after season? Welcome back to SoilSage Chronicles, where we dig deep, literally and figuratively, into the secrets of healthy, thriving soil. Today, I'm going to share with you a tried-and-true method I've tested myself that outperforms traditional compost piles when it comes to drawing worms into your garden beds. And once you try it, you'll never look at your soil the same way again. Before we jump into the hack itself, let's pause for a moment. Why are we chasing worms in the first place? Simple worms are the ultimate natural soil improvers. Their tunnels create pathways for water and oxygen, their castings are nutrient-rich, slow-release fertilizer, and their constant movement keeps the soil alive and balanced. You can throw all the fertilizer you want onto your garden, but if worms aren't thriving in your soil, your plants won't reach their full potential. Fertilizer feeds plants. Worms feed the soil, making it a living, self-sustaining system. The secret isn't fancy, it isn't expensive, and it doesn't involve complicated equipment. The soil hack that attracts more worms than compost is leaf mold. Leaf mold is simply decomposed autumn leaves, that's it. No kitchen scraps, no manure, no turning piles every few weeks, just a heap of leaves left to break down slowly until they become a dark, crumbly, spongy material that smells like the forest floor. And, worms absolutely adore it. Why does it work better than compost? Compost, as rich as it is, heats up as it breaks down. That heat can actually repel worms until the pile cools. Compost also tends to be nutrient-dense but not necessarily moisture-retentive. Leaf mold, on the other hand, is always cool, consistently moist and packed with the fibrous carbon worms need for food and shelter. Think about where worms thrive in nature. Walk into any woodland and flip over the top layer of soil beneath fallen leaves. What do you find? Moist, spongy earth absolutely teeming with worms. That's leaf mold in action. Worms flock to leaf mold because it stays damp even in dry weather, giving worms the moisture they need. It breaks down slowly, providing a steady, long-term food source. And it mimics their natural forest habitat, making it, just about irresistible. When you add leaf mold to your garden beds, you're essentially recreating the forest floor right in your backyard. Worms can't resist it, and once they move in, they don't leave. Here's the best part. Making leaf mold requires less effort than composting. Here's how I do it. In the fall, I gather leaves, lots of them. I pile them into a corner of my yard or stuff them into simple wire mesh bins. Some gardeners even use black garbage bags with a few holes poked in for airflow, then I forget about them. That's it. Over the months, fungi and microbes slowly break the leaves down. No turning or mixing required. Depending on your climate, it can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years to fully mature into leaf mold. But don't worry, you don't have to wait for it to be finished to start using it. Partially broken down leaves are just as attractive to worms, and they'll finish the job right in your garden. The beauty of leaf mold is in its versatility. Here are the methods I found most effective. First, mulching directly over beds. Just spread a 2 to 3 inch layer of leaf mold right over your garden beds. It keeps the soil cool and moist, and within weeks you'll see worm tunnels just under the surface. Next up, mixing into soil. Work leaf mold into the top few inches of your garden soil. It improves structure immediately, giving worms both a food source and a cozy habitat. And for an extra boost, I sometimes dig small trenches between rows of crops and fill them with leaf mold. This creates little worm buffets that lure them straight into my beds. Don't get me wrong, compost is still gardening gold. But when it comes specifically to attracting and keeping worms, leaf mold wins. Compost piles are often too hot for worms during their most active stage of decomposition. And while finished compost is a wonderful soil amendment, it just doesn't hold water as effectively as leaf mold. Leaf mold acts like a sponge, soaking up water and slowly releasing it back into the soil. Worms crave that constant moisture. Add in the steady supply of decomposing carbon and you've got the perfect long-term habitat. When I first started experimenting with leaf mold, I'll admit, I was skeptical. I had always relied on compost, and I thought nothing could top it. But the first spring, after laying down a thick layer of leaf mold on my vegetable beds, I noticed a dramatic change. Digging into the soil, I couldn't believe the number of worms wriggling just below the surface. The soil was darker, looser, and more alive than I'd ever seen it. My tomatoes grew stronger, my greens thrived longer, and I watered less often because the soil held moisture so well. From then on, I've never skipped the leaf mold step. Every year I collect leaves with the same enthusiasm some folks reserve for harvesting crops. To me, they're free bags of worm gold. Alright, so let's talk about using a mix of leaves. You see, oak leaves tend to take a bit longer to break down, while softer leaves like maple and birch decompose more quickly. By mixing them together, you get both immediate and long-term benefits for your soil. And hey, don't forget to keep them damp. If your leaf pile dries out completely, decomposition slows down, which is not what we want. A sprinkle of water during those dry spells can really help keep things moving along. Shred if you want faster results. Whole leaves work fine, but shredding speeds things up and makes a fluffier mold worms can burrow through easily. At the end of the day, leaf mold is more than just a worm attractant. It's a way of reconnecting with how soil was meant to function, alive, layered, and self-sustaining. By using what nature provides freely each autumn, you're building a long-term foundation for healthier soil and stronger plants. And the worms? Well, they'll happily move in and do the rest of the work for you. So the next time you see a pile of fallen leaves, don't think of them as yard waste. Think of them as the most powerful soil-building resource you can get for free. Compost is wonderful, but when it comes to drawing in worms and keeping them working in your soil, leaf mold is the true secret weapon. Worms are the silent partners in our gardens, and the more we attract them, the less work we have to do. Leaf mold is the ultimate hack. It costs nothing, requires almost no effort, and outshines compost when it comes to worm appeal. If you found this guide useful, share it with a fellow gardener who might be raking their leaves into the trash instead of turning them into garden gold. And don't forget, subscribe to SoilSage Chronicles for more time-tested soil wisdom, practical hacks, and garden insights that keep your soil alive and thriving. Let's build better soil together, one leaf at a time.